What's up, Whisper Nation? Welcome to Friday, October 1st. Halloween's right around the corner, or at least a month away. So things are getting pretty scary, and they're getting pretty scary on that injury report. We're going to talk about that, all the news and notes. We're also going to be doing a little bit of underdog drafting at the end of the show. We'll be answering your questions all here on the Fantasy Whispers. Let's get it.
Right here.
Hey, look at this. I'm up on the screen right now, and Johnny did not cue me in for this one, but we're going to go ahead and get the news and nuggets section started right now here. It is Friday, October 1st. Johnny Game Time Hicks. What's good, my guy?
What's up, dude? You all right?
Pulled the
dude,
rug
it's
out
Friday.
from under him, dude.
It's Friday.
That's right.
Well, Austin's always the host on Fridays, so I thought we always roll with the same game plan. We're like Matt Nagy. We never, dude. We don't change.
God, don't
We
say
don't
we're
change
like
our
that.
play
Say that,
calls,
dude.
dude.
Do not put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. You will not. He's not going to have a job soon, and I hope that we are not in that same bucket.
Let's hope.
But I'm looking forward to talking with Justin Fields. Talking about Justin Fields. How about you, Big Travie? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's Aloha Friday. We're busting out the Hawaiian shirt, getting a little funky down here, the big kahuna, if you will. I am excited to see what shakes out this week. I think a lot of people like week 3 as like the barometer, I guess you could say, for like data points and stuff like that. I really think it's week 4. I really think after this week, we're really going to know a lot more. It gives a lot of leeway to, oh, that was a fluky week. This is how this team's going to run. I'm really excited to just jump into that at the end of this week. But there are some good games on the slate. I'm excited for that. But most of all, I'm excited to get Whisper Nation the information they need to help them dominate this week.
That's right, Whisper Nation. If you are joining us and you are new to the channel, say what's up in the comments. We are a growing community, and we would be nothing here without you. We just love to bring other fantasy football minds to the table and get the conversation rolling. So if you're new to the show, drop us a comment in there. And if you like what you're listening to, hit us with a like and a subscribe. You know how it goes. Let's go ahead now and jump into some of the reactions from last night's game. We're Friday afternoon right now. Mr. Miyagi's new. What's good, man?
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi.
So, and I know that Travis mentioned this earlier, but we're going to do our best to get through our full league slate of news and nuggets here, setting up for the weekend. But we will also be jumping in and answering questions that we get in the comments. But we're going to be probably getting to the majority of those later on in the show. So drop us a question, stick with us. We'll do our best to get to it. And if you have more questions, though, before your lineup gets set in motion on Sunday, join the live lineup breakdown show Sunday morning, 90 minutes before kickoff. That's 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, 11:30 or 8:30 Pacific time. Thank you. 11:30 Eastern time, live on the YouTube channel, where Travi and Johnny are going to be going over all of your questions. But Johnny and Travis wanted to jump into some reactions from last night's Thursday night football game. We had the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. A pretty good game. We've been blessed with a lot of these good Thursday night games. It might have been a bit of a scrummy matchup between the 0-3 Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals, but it ended up working out, right, Johnny? How did you think about the game? Just first take on it.
Yeah, it turned out really, really a very, very entertaining game. Definitely was very sad about the DJ Chark injury, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Mainly because he was going into his contract year. So, and that's a pretty significant injury. We'll see if he ends up getting a contract. This is the unfortunate part of the NFL. But there was that. Yeah, the Joe Mixon injury information come out. But what was really surprising was the fact that Carlos Hyde scratch right before the game. James Robinson having himself a game. I luckily had him in some DFS lineups. That was kind of nice. But yeah, talk about your boy James Robinson. If they end up giving him the rock, if they can healthy scratch Carlos Hyde moving forward, that'd be fantastic. We'll see what ends up happening there, though. But yeah, that was a heck of a game.
Heck of a game. And way to touch there on some of the Jacksonville Jaguars players, Johnny. Swinging it over now to swinging it over to Travis for the other big cat in this matchup. Oh my gosh, so funny here too. I just want to chime in numerous opinion. Do you reckon if I should take Kane? I was like, Kane, what rookie is this?
Dude,
who am I thinking?
So I Googled Kane football after he said that, and I was like, and then I see that it's a soccer player, and that's when he came in and said, you guys are talking about American football. I thought you were talking about English Premier League. I just hope that this guy gets the answer he needs for his English Premier League fantasy. I know my cousin plays some football fantasy for non-American football, so Yeah, it's good
I
stuff.
hope you get what
man.
you need.
You know who could have really helped him was his credit. Credit's all about that, dude. He
The
loves
fantasy
that. Like,
soccer?
yeah. Well, and just soccer in general. He's a huge fan.
Nice.
John Credit, who runs a lot of the back end for our digital platforms, helps us out with a lot of the website and other interconnected pieces there, Whisper Nation. But Travis, I wanted to ask you there about the Cincinnati Bengals, who pulled out another win. They're 2-1 right now. We had Joe Mixon. He's dealing with an ankle injury, but we saw Jamar Chase getting involved. We saw Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, and then the tight end, CJ Uzomah there had a really nice day. What was your overall impression of Thursday night from the Bengals side, Travis?
I kind of saw what I had hoped to see out of the Bengals. We had seen what this team was doing was dominating touches from Joe Mixon in order to kind of ease Joe Burrow back into the lineup after that injury. And so what we saw was a more conservative approach from Zach Taylor than we've ever really seen, and this team not really open it up. But then on this game, of course, the Jaguars are a nice team to do that against. They started to open it up. You talked about Uzomah getting a ton of love there. Almost nearly had 2 touchdowns. He had the one, right? Yeah. Or did he have 2?
He did have 2.
He did have 2. He nearly had 3. There was a screen where he almost took that to the house too. So, and then you saw Joe Burrow, 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. He also threw for over 348 yards. Man, it looks like we're getting a little bit more opening up out of our Bengals, which is nice to see, because this was a guy in Burrow that averaged nearly 45 attempts last year when he was in. And so you want to see some more of that, spread it out wide. And depending on what happens with our guy, Joe Mixon, that could be more of the formula going forward as well.
Really quickly here on some of these Bengals pass catchers. Johnny, we talked on the breakdown for week 4 about Jamar Chase. The question was, do I think he's elite? I said, no, not elite yet, just because that volume isn't there, but what he's doing with his opportunities is elite. It's just going to keep coming for him. We saw 6 of 9 targets for 77 yards. He looked good. He statted well, but Tyler Boyd is who really caught me off guard on this one with 9 of 11 for 118 yards. Are you leaning into Tyler Boyd a little bit more if T. Higgins stays sidelined?
I mean, his targets should be pretty consistent. I did think that this was a great matchup for him. And so I did like his matchup this week, talking about that Jacksonville defense. Where do you the week before, look who went off. Christian Kirk. There's no, you start to see these patterns, and that's why we love it. As you start to get more and more data points, Big Travie talked at the top of the show about how after week 4, you really get a really good sample size. And that's what we're starting to see. We saw it through the first 2 weeks, a tendency for Jacksonville to really allow a lot of points there to that slot position role. And you saw it last night as a result. Hopefully you played him. He had a big game. He'll continue to be a wide receiver 3/flex play depending on the matchup. We'll keep our eye on T. Higgins right now and see what that's looking like. But at the same token, right, Jamar Chase didn't have the biggest game, and we also kind of expected that because the Jags wide receiver or cornerback 1 is actually a pretty decent cornerback. He's been playing fairly well and locking up, wide receiver, the number 1 wide receiver targets for teams, or at least hindering them somewhat. So it wasn't a surprise that Chase didn't have a mega day. But I do think better days are ahead for that whole wide receiver core.
Yeah, definitely. And while Jamar Chase didn't have a Mondo day, 6 of 9 targets for 77 yards is still pretty decent, Travis. And I know you've been a big Jamar Chase fan. I want to get to Nick's question here. Has Chase become a must start for you, Travis?
In a lot of leagues where I have Chase shares, I have a PPR league where I can't, because I've got Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and another wide receiver that's really good, Cooper Kupp. So there's going to be situations where you can't get him in based on who you drafted ahead of you. But right now, I think he is a must start. If you can definitely get him into your lineup, that's the guy you want to do. I just want to make a note on Tyler Boyd. I think Boyd's actually shaping up to be more of a consistent play than we want to admit. In PPR last year, he was a wide receiver 11 before Burrow got hurt. So this is a guy that Burrow has looked to in the past. I think he's definitely a guy that we can continue to put down the drum on.
And not only that, but he's led this team, surprising or not, he's actually led this team in market share over the last 3 years. So he's definitely, that was where my hindrance, and if going back to the summer, I had such difficulty looking at this offense because like we said, Chase was this shiny new gem, and you're wanting to give him this huge market share, and then you're also like, well, T. Higgins is there, he's getting a lot of hype, and then you have Boyd, who on paper you're looking at, you're like, he's always been this guy who gets over 22% market share, and you're like, can he really do that again this year with with Chase and T. Higgins there? And it does look like he could still get in that 20+% target range still.
Also, I wanted to kick it back to you on Uzama, because that's a guy who got 0 points the week before and then goes off in this game. Is that somebody you're going to trust, maybe pick up on waivers and kind of try to roll with?
I think he made himself a strong streamable case, but there are just so many of these tight ends in your fantasy league waiver wire right now. It's just guessing which one is going to be the tight end to get 2 touchdowns and to be a focal point in the offense. It's a really difficult matchup to predict of which tight end is going to pop, but CJ is definitely now on my streamable list, and he's worked his way kind of up to the top of the consideration for that. I mean, after a performance like this, he looked good too. Looking at nice before, looked good as well. Good question there. We're moving over now to, well, actually, really quickly, last thing I wanted to ask on this game. We know James Robinson did really well. We talked about the height impact. I wanted to kick it here to Johnny about the DJ Chark impact, who's down now, broken ankle. But what does this do for the other pass catchers? Marvin Jones had been surprisingly the lead dog over there in Jacksonville. 3 for 3, though. Just 3 targets, 3 catches for Marvin Jones, his lowest output of the year. And Laviska Shenault had that breakout day, I guess, we've been kind of looking for the last few weeks. Breakout might be an evaluation on this, but he's had a pretty disappointing start for what we expected. He had 99 yards, led the team in targets and receptions. He looked good too, right?
Good. Yeah, I'm excited for Laviska. He'll be, I'm sure I know Travis will be writing about him on the waiver wire column. He is going to be on the top of my list for guys to go out and get because this is where we look at, right? We know the past and the pedigree of where Laviska has come from. We know how good of a player he is. We just said it was about opportunity, and now he is going to get that opportunity. He should slide right into that Chark role. We already had said that he does presume, like, he has that alpha build. We just need that opportunity. So he should definitely get that moving forward. Better days ahead for Marvin Jones. Again, difficult matchup. We did talk about this on our matchup breakdown about how Marvin Jones did face a difficult matchup this week. Better days ahead. But this is also what Marvin Jones does, right? He goes off for a couple of games and he becomes a very highly talked about player, and then he'll disappear for some games. It's just what Marvin Jones does.
And moving on to the rest of the NFL. Speaking of not showing up, DeAndre Hopkins hadn't been at practice this week. What's up, Hannon? DeAndre Hopkins had been absent at practice this week, but he did return. He was dealing with a little bit of a rib issue, they're calling it. But Johnny, is this actually a thing, or is this DeAndre Hopkins just not practicing because that's what he does?
That's just what he does. I think he's going to go. Similar to last week, I had a lot of people hit me up asking, did I think Hopkins was going to go last week? And same thing. Now he might be slightly hindered. You saw that in the production last week. As a decoy, some might say, but again, it's DeAndre Hopkins. You'll monitor this, but I expect him to play.
Yeah, and we're going to be jumping over here to a lot of the questions at the end of it, but if somebody does have a question during a relevant part of the show, I'll go ahead and do our best to cover that one here. Nick asks, does Trevor Lawrence, that is Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, become a plausible start? I'm just going to jump. I'm not feeling it. Eventually in his career, at some point, we expect for him fully to do that. But not right now. And if last week was any indicator, it's not anytime necessarily soon. 17 of 24, 204 yards. You like the 8 carries, the 36 additional yards and a touchdown, but it's not a great workload to try to bank on moving forward. I don't really know what you'd be hoping to get out of that, especially with DJ Chark now going down. Speaking of wide receivers, Big Travie, wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Russell Gage is going to be out of week 4. Not that it's mattered up till this point, but that ankle's keeping him out. What are you looking at right now in Atlanta? As Calvin Ridley get a bump up? We have also been fading a little bit on the Atlanta Falcons pass catchers. How are you feeling now after this Russell Gage news?
I think the Cordarrelle Patterson show kind of continues to get more love here without Gage in the lineup.
Who?
That tertiary Cordarrelle Patterson, just that tertiary piece in the offense, because obviously the route tree or the target tree goes, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and then you're looking at a Cordarrelle Patterson for the most part as that third option. So I think that's where you're at. Ridley was going to be probably a start in your lineup regardless, just based on volume. Pitts may get an extra bump here with Gage out of the lineup. You might be looking for Pitts. I know Johnny wants to call him into the end zone this week, so we'll see if that happens. I think, it's kind of, we know what we have out of Atlanta, and we're all hopeful that Atlanta can turn it around and get this offense going a little bit more. But until they do, you kind of have to wait and see with a lot of these players.
Like that break. I want to give a shout out here to Yas Whedon, who's dropping in. What's going on? He had Chark yesterday. I know that Johnny can commiserate with you.
Yeah,
as well.
Difficult
on that one. But Johnny, instead of commiserating,
Whedon's saying not only Chark, but he's got Julio and Claypool as well.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, and it's like
Julio out.
What also sucks was like it happened so early in the game. So it's like you're just like in one league I am playing against Chark, and it was just like you just feel for that person. You're just like, that sucks. Like, I know I'm against you, and I do kind of like this fact, but at the same time, it's like that really sucks when your guy goes out like second play. What was the first or second play of the game?
Really early. Joe Mixon obviously went out as well, but he went out at the end of the game after a touchdown. It's certainly a different emotional impact from that. Speaking of emotional impacts, though, Mr. Miyagi, we got to give the people what they want. Can you give a little bit of hope here to Mr. Miyagi for Calvin Ridley? I know you haven't been the biggest Ridley fan, but you do like him week 4, right?
I do. Good matchup this week. Obviously was Gage out. Similar to Big Travis' take, I do think that he'll actually get a little bit more uptick in targets, and I also do think the fantasy glitch is Travis. That's what he meant to say earlier.
Wasn't the typo? The fantasy typo?
Yeah, it wasn't. No.
Fantasy correct.
No, dude. Fantasy glitch should get a little bit more usage as well. And Kyle Pitts. So
PFF
I agree.
grades Ridley's routes that he's going to run. They grade as good as far as advantage. Both the corners there for Washington that'll see most of the time, not grading out very well. We could see that in the way they're being gashed right now in the secondary.
A little bit of logical ammunition, if you will, for your dome piece. I want to move over now to the Baltimore Ravens, Big Travie, where Lamar Jackson, he had a little bit of a back issue, practicing full for Friday. Not looking like a real serious thing, something to monitor for weeks ahead, but Lamar Jackson should be out there doing his thing. But I wanted to ask you, Travie, is doing his thing going to be involved with Rashad Bateman this week, who had just got designated for return from the injured reserve, had a core muscle issue?
Yeah, it looks like he could. He's not a lock, I think, to get lifted here unless I'm missing news just yet. But he's definitely returned to practice. He cleared to do that. Bateman could be in the mix. This is a guy that was heavily hyped coming out of college. Then he was heavily hyped in the offseason as Baltimore looked to revamp their offense around him and try to really lift up the other pieces in Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. I picked up, I think he's a great waiver ad. I missed it on the column this week, but he'll be a great waiver ad for next week as well. And I think that, as far as Lamar in this matchup, just wanted to touch on, this is Denver. It's a tough matchup, but I want you to, look at last week where Lamar kind of had a rough game. He had his receiver and Marquise Brown drop 3 touchdowns. He still posted just about 20 points in 4-point standard scoring. And that's just a testament to what Lamar does on the ground for you. His floor is there. I think even in a tough matchup here against Denver, you're excited about what Lamar can do with his legs.
I want to jump over here to the Chosen One's question, who said he dropped Elijah Mitchell. Is that bad? It's all circumstantial, my guy. If you dropped him for Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb, no, it was not. If you dropped him just because, probably. There is a lot of question marks over there in the San Francisco backfield. Elijah Mitchell has thus far looked like the best halfback for the 49ers. We expect to see him come back soon, and he's probably going to get that lead role. Kind of depends, though, on who you dropped him for and what the other contextual factors in that decision were. And we're going to try to get to the rest of the questions. We'll make sure we get to all the questions by the end. I know, it's a nice one. Just because, live your life, man. You never know. You never know. Probably not the wisest decision if you're trying to accumulate points for the long haul. But, there's a lot of things we do in life for a lot of different reasons. So
no, I think he or she was commenting on that, or maybe they did. Just because
it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Hot take from Austin on Elijah Mitchell for Chubb.
That's what you come here for, Mr. Miyagi, so we want to make sure we get it to you there. I want to bring it now over to the Carolina Panthers, whose star running back Christian McCaffrey is out. It's going to be on the injured reserve. We know this. Hamstrings are kind of a bigger deal than we really like to think. I think a lot of folks are thinking these are like a 1 to 2 week kind of issue. There's so many examples, though, of star players being rushed back and getting in one game and then they're out for the rest of the season because they hurled that hammy back too fast. Johnny, what do you think the prognosis here for the Carolina Panthers is going to be with Christian McCaffrey out? Are you on board with Hubbard? Are you looking another direction? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on board with him. I think that he's of course not going to be a CMC, but he'll probably be like Mike Davis. That system is a good system for running backs. They're going to dump off to him a lot. I think in PPR he's fine. But yeah, this sucks for CMC, especially. At least an IR spot. This is nice because then you could put him in your IR spot. But yeah, not a good process for.
No,
like hamstrings. Never like hamstrings.
No, you certainly don't, and you certainly don't like to see that type of player, any player really, but especially when you picked up in the first round, go down. I know I certainly didn't like to see that happen to my roster in the Whisper Listener League, where Christian McCaffrey went down, and I lost by 1 point to end my undefeated season after 2 weeks. Yeah, and that same one that Dalton Schultz touched on, I lost by 1 point in the same week that Christian McCaffrey went down. But fortunately, I got Hubbard on my lineup there as well. The Chicago Bears have Justin Fields on their lineup, Travis, who did not have a great week last week, but we're not really, as an industry, seeming to point a lot of blame over at Justin Fields. The hot take is being pointed directly at Matt Nagy, who, I've seen commentators come off and say this is the worst game plan they've ever seen. Yeah. And now we believe that Bears offensive coordinator Bill Lazor is likely to call plays more so than Matt Nagy for Sunday's game. How does this impact the viability of Justin Fields for you, Travis?
It's good news if Matt Nagy is no longer calling the plays over there. I think the frozen face of Johnny is killing me right now. For those of you
am I not in there?
No, it's just a frozen O face for you. Oh, dang.
Dang it.
Either way,
Matt Nagy.
We have a situation now where we can be a little bit more excited about the prospects going in for Justin Fields, because what's frustrating about this is we saw in the preseason how they schemed Justin Fields. They schemed their offense around him, and they accentuated his strengths in the preseason. And then all of a sudden there was like 2 designed runs against Cleveland. They didn't move the pocket to get away from Myles Garrett. They essentially put him on a platter to get sacked 9 times by Myles Garrett. And the Browns, and that is just frustrating. So Bill Lazor comes in. This is a great matchup for Justin Fields against Detroit. This was the matchup we've been waiting for on the schedule, kind of, for him. Cleveland we knew was a bad matchup, but this one looking a lot better. Detroit giving up north of 20 points per game to the opposing quarterback, and they haven't played, other than Lamar Jackson. We're looking at guys like who do they play? They play Jimmy Garoppolo in week 1. So like these are guys that are not big scorers. And now you can get a guy in Justin Fields who I think is a fine start at that fringe RB level and definitely in 2 QB leagues. Or fringe QB1 level, sorry.
He said, Nagy said starting quarterback will be a game time call. Is there any world where Fields isn't the starting quarterback this week?
Unless
there's rumors that Andy Dalton actually they throw Andy Dalton as a starter. That's what the hot word on the street is right now, is that it could be Andy Dalton getting thrown back in there.
I'm not surprised about anything coming out of Chicago right now. We say that assumes logical coaching. There is no such thing right now in Chicago.
Is Matt Nagy the new Adam Gase? Hashtag Matt Nagy,
maybe.
New Adam Gase.
But then here's the nice thing. Bill Lazor, my buddy, being called, getting the calls, or reportedly being called the play offensive coordinator. Great news for David Monty, because when Lazor took over last year as the play calling duties, check this out: Monty, RB6, RB1, RB6, RB2, RB8, RB5. He started feeding Monty like 20 a game. And you can expect to see that again happen if Lazor is actually calling plays as the OC.
So Lazor calling the plays back then. Tariq Cohen was out. Tariq Cohen's out now. Bill Lazor's about to call the plays again. Johnny's feeling really good about David Montgomery, and Slim Reaper's feeling really good about hashtag Whisper Nation Strong. It is great to have you here, Slim, as always. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. That little thumbs up. We're going to get to your question here on the Raiders in just a second. Slim, hang with us. And moving forward now, and I'll actually jump to Mr. Miyagi's question right here because we were just covering the Chicago Bears. Can you start Allen Robinson over Deontay Johnson, Ridley, CeeDee Lamb, or Montgomery in the flex half-point PPR? Travis, what do you think on this one?
Oh, I don't love Allen Robinson.
I don't either.
I think I like him more than Deontay Johnson this week with Big Ben's situation and Jair Alexander, plus the knee for Deontay. We've seen Deontay try to come back in injury and leave that same game. I think Allen Robinson has to be locked in. Let's say Justin Fields.
You're going to start him over Montgomery?
No, I think he asked if we'd start him over any of these guys, or just Deontay Johnson.
I see. You're right.
Right. Yeah. I think you're starting A-Rob, Ridley, CeeDee, and Montgomery if that's the way it lines up. But yeah, I wouldn't start him over any of those other wide receivers, just Deontay.
Yeah, I agree. Moving forward to the Detroit Lions, Travis, for our boy TJ Hawkinson, who was limited. He's the number 3 tight end still after that dismal week 3 letdown. If you had him on your lineup, looking ahead, TJ Hawkins said he goes into every week thinking that I'm going to get doubled and I have to beat that. From Tim 20man over on Twitter. Elaboration there. It's hardly surprising Hawkinson is opposing defense's primary concern, considering the Lions have trotted out wide receivers Tyrell Williams, Quintus Cephas, Raymond, and Amon-Ra St. Brown this season. Expect Hawkinson's target share to bounce back this Sunday against the Bears after caught only 2 of 2 targets in week 3. Any cause for concern from you, Travis, on Hawkinson this week?
No, I think the problem that we have is that we get upset when we get that elite tight end or a presumably elite tight end, and then he has a down week. This is the position. This is the nature of the beast at the position. You're going to have down weeks, but TJ Hawkinson is ready to hawk a loogie on the Bears here, and I think that's what you got to do is you got to roll him out there because the usage is there. What are you going to do? Are you going to bench Hawkinson this week for what? A guy on the waiver like at the caliber of CJ Uzomah? Obviously, you wouldn't start him this week, but like you're not going to pick that up and start that. So that's you're rolling with Hawkinson with extreme confidence just by the way he's used, the routes he's running, and the target share that's naturally going to go his way.
Really like that take, and I agree with it 100%. Johnny, sticking with the Lions, but bringing it over to your boy, DAndre Swift. We talk about how he's a top 5 halfback right now, and that workload looks to increase, and his production looks really efficient. But he's dealing with a little bit of a groin issue, and he was limited during Thursday's practice. Does this give you any cause for concern? What's your prognosis for Sunday, Johnny?
I am not concerned. We've seen this happen for the first 3 weeks now. We do know that he is dealing with the groin injury or coming down from it, but I fully expect him to play. I'm not concerned. It's something he's been dealing with, and as Austin just alluded to, he's still an RB1 right now, even with it, so I'm not concerned at all.
I agree on that. Staying in the NFC North and the halfback room, Travis, we're going to talk about our Green Bay Packers, whose halfbacks Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are both a little bit banged up. I love when I go and draft my first-round running back and his handcuff just so that they can both be hurt in the exact same week. I swear to God, this is not the first time I've done this with the Green Bay Packers backfield. Go back to the Jamal Williams days there. But sticking in the current moment, Aaron Jones, ankle issue. A.J. Dillon, back issue. What do you see this week going into it?
You had said something interesting on our matchup show about like you hoping they just bench Aaron Jones because you run A.J. Dillon out there. I think their hand's going to be forced now, and I don't think they're going to be able to. I imagine Aaron Jones suits up. I think just on touchdown upside alone, you have to play Aaron Jones, even if you're concerned about injury. And then A.J. Dillon's a guy that like we'll see what happens with his status. Now, if that flips and it's Jones who's out and A.J. Dillon is announced the starter, you got to play A.J. Dillon. I think that's a smash spot. 7-point home favorites against Steelers, who have just been really bad as a team right now and can't seem to sustain drives or get anything going. And then I think sneakily in deeper leagues, pick up Kylan Hill. This is a guy that projected really well as a prospect, and the Packers got him really late, and I just think he's a guy that could really soak up some targets in the offense and is a little shifty. So if you're in a situation where both are surprise inactives, Green Bay just thinks that. I think Kylan Hill is a fine flex play in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, that'd be really a nice pickup. They do have them inactive. You would be doing your team a great service should you be able to pick him up. Speaking of service, that's what the Kansas City Chiefs hope they're going to get a little bit out of Josh Gordon, but he's not going to be playing this week, Johnny. He's probably not going to be this week when asked to Andy Reid. Stay the course. This is
probably not going to be this year either, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to have much of a fantasy impact there. So
I agree. But
He's coming for Cordarrelle Patterson's nickname, Johnny. He's going to be the new fantasy.
Dude. No one could do that. No one.
Nobody thought that Peyton Barber was going to be making such an impact for the Las Vegas Raiders, but he did last week. He looked pretty darn good, getting over 20 touches and accumulating over 100 yards. Following that performance, Raiders coach Jon Gruden said he's not going to hesitate to put him, Peyton Barber, in a primary role, Travis. This came after Jon Gruden noted that Josh Jacobs was questionable for the Raiders on Monday night versus the Chargers. Oh, man, this is kind of a tough spot right now, right? We got some questions that are popping up in the chat around this dynamic. How are you feeling right now about Peyton Barber, about Josh Jacobs, and this Monday night matchup where people have a lot of fantasy questions tied up into it?
We'll know a lot more on Saturday when they have another practice because they are the Monday night game. So just make sure you're stay tuned and in line with that. And we'll know more on the Sunday lineup show for you. So tune in hour and a half before kickoff right here on YouTube. I also dropped the link to the start sit column where I have Peyton Barber as one of my starts of the week here. And that's because the guy has fully resurrected from the depths of fantasy football irrelevance to now be dominating for the Raiders. 23 touches last week. He even got some pass catching in there. Johnny's laughing, but Peyton Barber ain't going away, man. He's not going away. And Jon Gruden, just as old in his set in his old ways, wants to continue to pound the rock. They're not using Kenyon Drake as the backup. They're using him as the complementary piece. And this Chargers defense is actually a run funnel because they've been locking down the pass so well. Teams have run on them at a high rate. They're averaging letting up to opposing running backs 5 yards per carry, and they're the 7th best defense you want to target if you have a fantasy football running back. So I'm all in on Peyton Barber. Should Jacobs become inactive, that would be a tough situation. I think you could still roll Jacobs out there if he is announced active just because of the matchup. But yeah, I'm good on the running game for the Raiders in this one.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs did return to practice on Thursday. Another Raiders halfback coming back to action, or at least it's on the horizon, Johnny, is Jalen Richard, who Kenyon Drake basically took over his role, but the Raiders designated Jalen Richard to return from the injured reserve in the next 3 weeks. This could happen if he does come back. Do you see this making an impact on Kenyon Drake, or is this just a deep stash piece there that they have?
I think it's the backup to if Drake goes down, then they have a guy that they trust. But I don't expect him to.
It would be just like Gruden to put both Barber and Jalen Richard in,
right?
Over a healthy Jacobs and Drake.
Yeah, he's just like, I trust these guys.
They're grinders.
Yeah, Gruden grinders.
Knock if you're with me. Johnny, Keenan Allen has been dealing with a bit of an ankle issue, but he was limited. He should be fine. We expect him to be playing. Does this temper your expectations for his output, though, at all?
Once again, I haven't heard that this is a significant ankle injury, so not as of right now. Again, though, we'll monitor this if more information comes out or we hear more. As long as it's not a high ankle sprain, I think we're good. We're good. But yeah, as of right now, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to play. I'm getting him in my lineup. Should be have a good game.
Staying in Los Angeles, but going to the other side of the stadium, Travis, the Los Angeles Rams halfback Darrell Henderson is expected to play. We think Sean McVay said he anticipates Darrell Henderson playing in week 4. He's dealing with that rib issue. He's got a couple of other little hanging around ailments. What are you thinking about? Are you starting Darrell Henderson this week if he is active?
I don't think I could start Darrell Henderson this week if he's active. And I was in on starting Sony Michel. I thought it was a decent matchup for him. This would have been him getting that role. But because Henderson's back, I'm almost kind of fading either right now. It reminds me of a situation in Tampa, not as convoluted, but a situation where, are we going to be able to guarantee if with Henderson back that Sony's going to get enough touches for you? And who gets the passing game work? Can we guarantee that? And so for me, I think I'd kind of be out on either if you had better options. The bottom line, though, in fantasy right now is past RB15 in rankings or RB18, you don't have better options because it's so nasty right now. So I think my bet would be to try and give a firm answer for Whisper Nation here. I would bet on Michel because he's healthy. He had a decent carry game against Tampa Bay. Even that's a tough defense. He made some room in that game. And so I would roll with Sony Michel over Henderson, and I would bench Henderson and see him get back, get healthy, and get into the lineup.
Do you want the funk? Do you got to have that funk? I'm sorry. Deeper leagues.
Deep league.
Oh, we like to have fun here. Speaking of fun, so does Will Fuller. He likes to have himself a ball of fun, Johnny. He returned to practice on Thursday. Is this a guy you're looking to start in your lineup over in Miami with your boy Jacoby chucking him the rock, or like,
Wait, you're talking about Will Fuller or Cup? You went from Cup to Miami and Fuller.
Did I even say Cup? Did I say Cup's name? I was just
You did say Cup.
Oh, excuse me. Well, Cooper Kupp was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month for September. So speaking of fun, Cooper Kupp is having it. He's having a phenomenal
wide receiver one.
Wide receiver one. I don't know if that slows down. Like, does he finish as a top 5 wide receiver this year?
I believe so.
I think he finishes top 5. I don't think he finishes number 1. I do think Woods is going to start getting more involved. But
I think he probably will too. But he's top. I don't care if he's number 1 or number 3.
Right. I do think he finishes top 5.
I mean, he finished top 5 with Goff, so he's definitely in the mix for top 5.
Yeah. Speaking of top 5, Will Fuller is not going to finish in the top 5, but he does have a weekly appeal of doing such that. So, Johnny, I do want to ask you about Will Fuller. You talked about him a lot. We know the impact that he can have. Travis frequently describes the impact he had over there in Houston. It's real. It's different. Will Fuller's like freaky. Do you think he's going to be freaky here? It's October. It's the start of spooky season. What type of impact can you expect from Will Fuller, or are you anticipating here? Is it a start? Is it a wait and see? Where are you at right now?
Travis really likes this matchup for Miami. He's been talking about it all week about how you need to get your wide receivers for Miami in. If you have, depending on what your options are, obviously Will Fuller dealing with this injury, we have no idea what it is or the severity of it. There hasn't been a whole lot of information on him. So I personally a little hesitant. But I do agree with what Travis is saying, is that, and pointing to, is like the matchup can be had. It's just how much do you believe in Jacoby Brissett, not my other Jacoby, not my Jacoby. But I have some hesitancy for right now. But we'll see what ends up happening over the next couple of days, because that could instantly change depending on this Deshaun Watson rumor stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of hesitancy, the Minnesota Vikings are hesitant to name their starting running back this week. Dalvin Cook is questionable for week 4, Travis. Coming back from that ankle, it's trending in the right direction, but we're not sure if he's going to be starting just yet. Is this a wait and see, tune into the live show 90 minutes before kickoff, or do you have an answer right now of what to expect on Dalvin Cook?
No, I wish I did, but I'm not any kind of insider for the Minnesota Vikings, and I don't know what Zimmer's going to want to do. He said last week that basically if Dalvin can go, he's a tough guy. He should go. He makes us run, so we'll put him out there. Then Alexander Madison went out there and showed him that they're a 1v1 replacement for each other. And that's not a slight on Dalvin Cook's talent. He's obviously the better running back and a better talent. But in this system, Madison catches enough screen passes. They block well enough. Like, he is a replacement for him at the RB1, RB2 borderline. So for me, that's what I would be, just watching carefully. Hopefully, if you're the Cook GM, you also have Madison, or you have a running back that's a backup plan around the same time frame. Be mindful of the timing of this game, and be mindful of the running backs that you're going to start instead of Dalvin Cook.
Moving over to the New England Patriots, where moment of silence for fantasy fixture James White, who is now done for the season with hip subluxation.
Doesn't sound good.
Does
not sound comfortable.
I'm not gonna linger on this one, but it really did kind of hit me in a way. James White has just been so reliable, such a familiar name and presence, and you see somebody go down, and it just makes you feel some type of way. But we got to move forward, and I wanted to know, Johnny, are you liking JJ Taylor? Are you liking Damien Harris? What does this James White news do to the rest of the running backs over there in New England?
I personally think JJ Taylor is going to step into that role for James White. That's what they have been grooming him.
Led the team in snap share last week. Didn't do a lot of work, but who would have thought James Taylor was going to lead in the snaps? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see it happening again this week because they're against Tampa Bay. How you attack Tampa Bay is not right up the middle or right up the gut. It's through the outside or on the edges. And how do you do that? Well, you dump it off to JJ Taylor. I do think it's another struggle day for Damien Harris, but Damien Harris could now see an uptick in a target or two. We already had seen him get a couple targets so far this season. So that could slightly go up, but I don't expect a whole lot right there. I do think that Harris is a buy low right now, though, because it is a difficult matchup this week. He is coming off a bad outing last week, but that was a very difficult matchup as well. And so moving ahead, they should have better game scripts, and he's a good running back, probably the best on their roster as of right now. I do like Ramondre in the future, but I would go Harris and JJ are going to be the 1B kind of there.
Yeah, we had seen such an incredible preseason performance, multiple preseason performance out of Ramondre Stevenson. The best highlights of their New England preseason came from Ramondre Stevenson. But as Johnny mentions, Damien Harris is their best halfback, and Damien Harris was redshirted his entire rookie season. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots do different things than other teams, and Ramondre might be the guy who should be in on it right now, but he's probably not going to. Love Damien Harris. He is a little bit game script dependent, but when it's working in his favor, he's really good. He's really good.
Maybe no other running back situation I'm watching more than New England. We talked about J.J. Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, Damien Harris, just because of all the things we mentioned. I think that the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, we're really intently watching these backfields this weekend to really get some clues on what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, someone is good in there. It's not like the Jets where it's like we don't think
and everybody wants to be like, spooked out of the mystique of Bill Belichick and like, oh, you can't peg it. But I really think that like if JJ Taylor becomes the pass catching back and Damien Harris remains the runner, we're gonna know that in game scripts we can try to predict which guy we're gonna like. And so I think for fantasy, like you can't spook yourself out of things just because you don't want to do a little bit of the work. We'll do the work for you right here.
Yeah, that's right.
Whispers.
If you hit that little bell icon, you can get notified as soon as those insights are coming, which helps you get an edge on the rest of your league. Travis, I want to talk to you a little bit about New England Patriots wide receiver N'Keal Harry. Famously, the first wide receiver taken off the board a couple of years ago, but he's had a pretty injury-plagued start. He's had a couple of flashes, kind of, but he's still a force in a wide receiver room where you got Jacoby Meyer, Nelson Aguilar, and Bourne over there who, we like Jacoby Meyer, but he's it's whatever. N'Keal Harry has the highest pedigree, but he's gotten the lowest impact thus far in his career. Does this mean anything to you that he could be coming back from his shoulder injury?
I mean, it's something you just keep on your radar, but right now it's Jacoby Myers or bust in the pass catching core right now. And this is going to be a great game for him. Another big start for me that I would love to get in my lineup if I could.
Yep. Sticking with the wide receivers, but moving over to New York, we've got Kenny Golladay. We've got Darius Slayton. We've got Sterling Shepard, Johnny, who we've all got some news with. Sterling Shepard is out with a hamstring, another one of those hammies. Slayton is in the exact same camp. Kenny Galladay's hip, which famously was an issue last year, has kept him limited this week in practice, Thursday included. How are you feeling about the New York Giants pass catchers, specifically at the wide receiver position, Johnny? You starting any of them?
I mean, well, Shepard, you're getting out of your lineup. You're not going to start him. He's most likely not going to give it a go. Same with Slayton, not going to play him. Kenny G does become an interesting dart throw, not the greatest matchup, but being the only guy there, then they're going to have to throw. And he was getting some red zone looks last week as one of the only wide receivers there. So I do think that there's an upside play with Kenny G, but there has been also a connection issue as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. But as far as Shepard and Slayton, I mean, I don't think I don't think anyone has Slayton on their roster, but Shepard, you're not going to play him this week. He's looking like he's not going to play at all.
Cassie has a personal question on this one. Is it fair to drop Shepard right now? And I know that he was the number one wide receiver in New York and he was looking good and the targets and everything was there. But I think we downplay hamstring injuries. I think hamstrings are more significant than we like to give him credit. I think Sterling Shepard is going to be out for a couple of weeks. I think when he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. And he was a guy that went 100%. You were picking up off of the waiver wire. So I get the appeal. I know that he's not going to stay on the waiver wire, but is he somebody that you don't have to feel too bad about dropping? Or would you hold on to him?
No, and I think it's context. We had another question in here about dropping. I forget, I just missed it, but he was talking about dropping Tyson Williams for Laviska Shenault. Like Laviska would be an interesting one to go and drop Shepard for, because the arrows are moving in different directions right now. So I don't mind. You've talked about this, shuffling the back end of the deck or the back end of the bench. Shuffle those other players to get other ones with up arrows in. I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. Moving on, the other New York team, Elijah Moore, has got a concussion. He's out for week 4. Doesn't really make an impact for any of the things you're doing anyways. If you'd like to go ahead and start Corey Davis on a flyer, okay. But I'm fading out this. Anybody leaning into the Jets?
No.
I do think Corey Davis has, if you need a flex play, he has a great matchup this week.
Yeah. And
Great
then we
matchup.
do want to keep an eye on Jamison Crowder, who's going to be coming back kind of soon, but stay tuned. More excitingly, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Johnny's boy, Deontay Johnson,
Yeah.
Travis's
Removed.
romance, and Chase Claypool. Starting with the latter there, Chase Claypool's got a hamstring issue. God, I'm saying hamstring a lot this show, dude. I hate it. He's questionable for week 4, got slapped with that tag, was downgraded to did not practice today, making his Sunday game looking more doubtful. Travis, even if Chase Claypool is active, would you start him?
Only if Deontay was playing. Because Deontay, I want to take Jair Alexander out of the picture, get Claypool moved around, especially if Juju were to miss as well. Then you have, Claypool getting some more slot snaps as well. I just have I have a lack of faith in Big Ben getting the ball down the field, which is all of Chase Claypool's really upside is capped in that situation. But they get creative with him, and I think if Deontay and Claypool go, you get see Claypool against a guy like Kevin King, who, as a Packers fan, you hate it, but as a fantasy fan, you love it.
Travis mentioned that his decision on starting Chase Claypool would be dependent on Deontay Johnson. Johnny, who was removed from Pittsburgh's final injury report. Looks like he's good to go. Obviously, he's not 100%, even if he's not on the injury report, but it looks like he's going to be playing. We expect for him to see a healthy dose of Jair Alexander, cornerback for the Green Bay Packers. Does this give you any hesitation, or are you feeling good about Deontay Johnson in your lineup? I know you got a lot of shares of him.
Yeah, I'm not playing him in any league. I do have a lot of shares of Deontay, but I won't be playing him this week. 1, coming off of that injury, I do want to see what he looks like. And 2, the Jair treatment is real, people. It's real. And he will shut down whoever he is guarding. So I'm not playing. I'm not playing Deontay.
Yeah, Travis, we talk a lot about the San Francisco 49ers backfield. Someone's going to be good. They got a lot of them. Elijah Mitchell had been the number 1 dude after week 1. This week, week 4, his shoulder is keeping him in a status of limbo, says Kyle Shanahan. How are you breaking down this backfield right now? Who would be the start for you?
Yeah, I think whoever is starting, if Mitchell gets the nod and he plays, I'd be comfortable starting Mitchell. I mean, I wouldn't be exactly comfortable, but I'm rolling him out there because of the matchup alone. Seattle just getting absolutely annihilated on the ground right now. Both Madison and Henry with monster games back-to-back against them. If Mitchell goes, he adds an element to the running game that Trey Sermon just actually does not. So if they're making Mitchell active, I think it would be to get him as the Raheem Mostert role in this offense, and I would then trust Elijah Mitchell in my lineup. And the same for Sermon. If Mitchell's out, I think Sermon's in a great matchup. I don't think he ran well against Green Bay last week, but I think he could fall into the end zone again like he did, and if he gets some pop against this really good matchup, he's a guy I would put in my lineup.
Yeah, and speaking of lineup, staying in the San Francisco 49ers locker room, George Kittle might not be playing this week. He's got a calf injury and is not guaranteed, is the official word. We've been talking a lot about George Kittle. It's been a little bit down. He is still involved in the yards, hasn't caught a touchdown, though. He's been a little bit of a fade play for us. This is not good news, Johnny. What does this do for your startability for George Kittle week 4?
I mean, if he ends up playing, you're going to play him because you have no better option, most likely. But yeah, not good news, especially when it's a calf injury. You don't like to hear that, especially because it's attached to your Achilles. And that is a frightening thing. And so, yeah, I am very, 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 very concerned. I was already concerned about Kittle coming into the season. And now I'm extra concerned because this kind of popped up out of nowhere. And now he could sit.
Yeah.
3 varies and an extra.
Yeah, 3 varies and an extra.
CP Investing asks, what do you think about Lockett and Metcalf? And we are now getting to the Seattle Seahawks section of the show, so we will be addressing that right now. Tyler Lockett's got a hip issue. He didn't practice on Thursday. Johnny, you broke down the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers on our breakdown show. You can catch that podcast on your favorite platform. You can join our Patreon to catch the full video. We do them every week. They are great sets of content. Johnny, though, how are you feeling right now about Tyler Lockett, who did not practice on Thursday? And then what does this do for DK Metcalf?
I'm playing DK. DK is going to have a boss game. And Lockett, even if he plays, I'm sitting him. He's not a great matchup.
Travis going over to Tampa Bay, running back Giovanni Bernard. He's out for week 4 against the Patriots. Giovanni Bernard has not had a carry, but last week he had 10 targets, 9 catches. Does this have any impact for you for Leonard Fournette, for Ronald Jones? Disappointing backfield, but a shift now. What does it do? What does that shift do for you?
I think the only shift I have, the only reason I'd be getting Fournette into my lineup is dire straits at your running back position and the fact that they are 7.5-point road favorites in this game. They will probably be up in this game. But again, this is the team that Johnny has said multiple times is going to throw. It's going to continue to throw even when it's up. And if you think that Tom Brady doesn't want to throw all over Bill Belichick even when he's up, you've got another thing coming. So I'm hesitant to put any back in my lineup from Tampa Bay.
Rob Gronkowski's ribs, he returned to practice. He looks like he's going to be just fine. Super tough dude. I think his role is maintained. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown's role, though, is not going to be maintained. They are both out of this game, Johnny. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, done. What does this do for Ryan Tannehill? And are you thinking of considering any of the other pass catchers in Tennessee for this week's start?
You got your boy. You got Big Travis boy Westbrook over there. Is available. Yeah. Get him in, dude. Actually, the matchup is really pretty nice. But I don't like. I'm not gonna unless it's a dire need. I'm not throwing him.
Question about Tannehill because Tannehill has a great or a decent matchup in this game. Would you start Tannehill without those guys?
No. This is they might just run like
run
how,
it 40 times.
Yeah, like how Tampa Bay is probably going to just like they might run it maybe like 5 times. Tennessee might do the same, but in the opposite, but run Derrick Henry.
This is the last team now on the slate here before we get to the questions and then jump into our underdog draft. We've got the Washington football team, Big Travie. My boy, Antonio Gibson's got a shin issue now. Shit. And this is making him questionable for this upcoming game. Coach Ron Rivera is pretty confident about Gibson's status. I don't think this changes anything for you, right? You're keeping him in if he's playing. Maybe if you had McKissick and were considering flexing him, this gives a little bit more appeal to the McKissick start.
In PPR for sure. I definitely consider McKissick, but Gibson's going to play. So I would imagine. I would imagine he's going to play.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel is going to be active. Speaking of playing, I like what he could be about for the rest of the season, but I don't really like him this week. You neither, Johnny?
No, if their name doesn't start Terry McLaurin or Gibson, or maybe Logan Thomas, I'm not interested right now. And they don't have enough. Their quarterback's not good enough to support a bunch of fantasy players.
I agree with that one. All right, so that gets us to the end of the news and nuggets. Now, there is going to be more news and nuggets that's coming out throughout the rest of the day, so make sure you're paying attention and join the Fantasy Whispers live on the YouTube channel 90 minutes before kickoff on Sunday to bring all of your specific lineup questions to the show. Johnny and Travis are going to cover them all. Speaking of covering them all, we got a couple of questions here, boys. Finish line asks, can we drop Tyson Williams? He banged me last week, and Laviska's on the waivers.
Oh, I'm sorry you banged you, but I would go with Laviska over Tyson Williams. I just think there's too much uncertainty in the Baltimore backfield right now.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, this one from earlier in the show, Waddle or Pittman as a flex. Give me Waddle.
I'd take neither of these guys right now.
Yeah.
But Pittman has a terrible matchup against Xavier Howard, but Waddle also does not have a great matchup because he's going to go against the slot corner for Indy most of the time, and that's been a great matchup for them. So I would go with Waddle, though. I think the upside's better there.
You got 12 targets last week, albeit for like a 1 yard a pop.
Pittman got 12 targets as well. The problem is like just the matchups aren't good for either of these guys. I think this is going to be a run, nasty, dirty game for both teams. I don't think it's going to produce a lot in the passing game.
Appreciate Mr. Miyagi coming in here with the corrections. Got our back. Appreciate that. Slim Reaper's got a lot of faith in the tight end out of Pittsburgh. We'll see on that one. I know that hurt Johnny in that weird start from Alex last week. That little shifty one. Let us know if you have any other questions, but we're going to go ahead now and get going into our underdog draft. Johnny, isn't that right? Want to tell the Whisper Nation a little bit of how this is working and what we're doing?
Yeah, so we're doing an underdog draft on Underdog Fantasy. If you don't have the app, just grab the app, use the promo code TFW. When they ask you, you'll get $10 free for signing up. And we're going to be doing this. It's a 3-person draft. And once Austin gets in here, I'm going to share this real quick. Once Austin gets in here, we will draft three player, or there's only 3 of us. 6 rounds. 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and one flex.
Guys, I'm getting some mock draft Monday vibes from this.
Dude.
It's like we're getting back
Hey.
into our off-season grind a little bit.
There we
here.
go, dude. Oh, your boy got the first pick.
Draft starts in a minute here.
Draft
You got the
starts
first
in a
pick out of
minute.
3. You really
Yeah,
got it,
dude.
kid.
Hey, I'm about to get the best player.
You won't, dude.
I don't know. Probably not. Who do I go? Do I do it? Do I do the?
So we got 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. Whisper
And one
Nation.
flex.
And
Did you say
1
flex?
flex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
6 rounds.
And-
6 rounds.
Just 1 week, right?
1 week. It's all
got-
the Sunday slate games.
And we got $3 a pop on the line for this, don't we?
Yeah, we
Some
do.
big skin, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Some scratch.
do
That's
it.
a lot of scratch.
Hey,
a lot of
that's-
moolah.
Hey, that's a Chipotle burrito. Okay.
No, it is not, dude.
Yeah,
No,
it is, dude. Chipotle burrito,
is
$7.40, dude.
Oh, I see.
$7.40.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I thought you meant $3. I was like,
And
oh,
the
what?
draft
Chipotle?
in 3 seconds.
I was like,
Yeah.
what Chipotle gets you $3 burritos? I want to know the address now. I will
You-
fly to Phoenix.
I
for
will
that.
go. Oh, I'm on the clock right now, boys. I'm going to take. Do I go? No, I'm not going to go there. Okay, I'll go ahead and take Derrick Henry here. Number 1.
Big boy. Oh, this is not. I am so excited to be drafting what I am more excited about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers New England Patriots game than I have been for some Super Bowls. We get a Super Bowl every single year. We don't get to watch the greatest of all time who was straight up disrespected by his longtime coach.
Do they have a draft?
Bley.
Where's the draft boards here?
I can't. Oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens.
The highest implied
Yeah.
team total on the week is Buffalo. They're playing Houston. I'm rolling in the flames with Josh Allen. I think it's just going to
Zach Moss Day, baby.
Yeah, Zach Moss
Yeah.
will get him there. Josh Allen's running it in.
You were up, Travis. You have 13 seconds. What are you thinking here? Also, we got someone asking Ayuk or Waddle for my flex. Give me Ayuk.
Yeah, if you got questions, keep them
Cooper
coming in
Kupp,
while we're
huh?
drafting. We'll try to get them answered. for
Cooper
you.
Kupp, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, dropped him.
Do it.
Devontae Adams, huh? You guys just let me.
How many running backs do we get? 2? 1. One
One
back,
running back.
2 wide receivers.
1 running back to rule them all.
I'll take Travis
DeAndre Swift,
Kelsey.
dude. You know you're going to get him.
No, I'll take Travis Kelsey. And do I go? Give me DK. DK going to absolutely smash.
Jer is saying Packers fan too. Love the framed Adams jersey in the background there. Appreciate that. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.
I know that he's been getting bracket covered, and I know that it's
You're
been a little
going
bit
with
of
him
this
anyways.
start, but I'm going with him anyways. He's always got that chance to blow it out, and I'm going for upside. Give me Tyreek.
Blow it out, your Alvin Kamara, dude, coming off a career high in carries, dude. Super Camario.
Well, there you go.
We're definitely going with him. And then at tight end, I got to go with my boy, or I was going to go with him. Did somebody get Waller already? Dang.
No, I don't think so. Austin,
not
did you
seeing
get
him.
Waller?
If I did, it was a mistake.
Why is he not here?
No, you have to like click.
I click off the other.
Yeah, you gotta click off the button
No,
of
he's
the
not
other
there.
ones.
Where is he though?
I'm taking Hawkinson. Panic. Panic
No.
and anxiety.
Damn it!
Wait
I
a
wanted to take Hawkinson.
Was
Not too
Waller
bad,
really
dude.
not
He's
there?
fine now. He wasn't there. I searched him. Maybe they don't allow some people. I don't know.
That's weird.
Wow, dude. Glitch. Oh, it's because they're the Monday night game, dude. They're the
I
Monday
see.
night game.
Monday
This is the
night.
Sunday
Good call,
slates.
Good call. Good call. Good call. Good
Yeah.
call.
There we go.
Great call. Thank you,
Great
Eric.
call.
Oh
Waller
no! Did I just
Yeah.
take 3 wide receivers?
Well, you have a
Oh,
flex.
you have a flex.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
have a flex.
Okay. Well, I guess
Remember,
that's-
guys, you can join us. We're going to start doing this with the fans too. Make sure you download the Underdog app and you use the promo code TFW. You get 10 free dollars. So make sure you're getting that Underdog app.
Do I want CD?
And they'll give you 10 free bucks. Austin just did it today. He's
I
got
did it just today.
$10.
Typed in TFW and the promo
Play it.
code, and I got $10.
He could draft with us 3 times for free. Just basically on their money, house money.
When I
On
beat you
their
guys
money.
each week, then I get to like play with your money.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Hills, yeah. God.
Do I want? Oh, give me Nick Chubb.
I don't even know
That's
how
who
to
I was gonna take. Oh, thank
Oh.
God. Nice.
Wait, what? It told me
Mahomes, dude. You
No.
ran out of time, dude.
That
I was
sucks.
gonna get
You
Kyler.
auto-drafted, dude. You auto drafted.
Dude, I clicked the button.
Like a bum, dude.
Yeah, bro, I can tell.
Ridiculous, dude. I was gonna wait till the last round. There was no point
Yeah,
in
I
even
could
drafting
tell,
a
dude.
quarterback right there.
Why? Why'd you do that, bro?
Why would you ever do that, dude?
You guys are
Wild,
so
dude.
lucky.
We're so
You guys are so lucky. I was gonna get Pat in the last
I woke
round.
up today breathing. You're sure as shit right. I'm lucky.
Wow.
dude.
Beautiful existence, my guy. We get to run a freaking fantasy football channel with our best friends. Damn straight, I'm lucky.
taking Calvin Ridley. Let's go, dude.
And the luck
Pretty good.
turned.
My team is just absolutely stacked.
Why can't I draft a player?
Oh, did I not get? Oh, yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
CD.
I can only take tight ends because I don't have a tight
Right,
end.
because you don't have one yet.
Shit. These guys suck. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about professional. I think I'm kind of feeling Logan Thomas. Gross.
Does it? Slim Reaper asking if it works in Ohio. I'm not sure. I could get back to you on that.
Oh,
But you
that's
can
a good
download
question.
the app, and when you go to try to put the money in, it'll let you know because it has your location right there because it's tracking you.
Well, I guess I do have.
Kind of like the vaccine.
Uh,
Just kidding. That's misinformation. It's not tracking you.
I'm going to
it's right.
go. I'm gonna grab.
You got 5 seconds, dude. Don't auto draft again, dude. It's a bad
Bro,
look.
you're
It's a
about
bad
to
look,
get
dude.
you're about to get Kirk Cousins.
Did it give it to me?
You got
Okay, I
Kirk
got
Cousins,
that.
dude.
No, I got Dalvin.
Because you got.
And now I need Dalvin to actually play, but we'll see. That will be a very risky play on
Oh
my
my
part.
god, you
but
got Dalvin?
yeah.
Oh, dude, super risk. Re-injury risk. He couldn't even play, dude.
Risk
about
and
to-
reward.
I'm
So
about to get a couple of those $3 Chipotle burritos after this, dude. Austin had to draft. Who'd you get at tight end? Kittle?
I went
I
Logan
got-
Thomas.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's
I
terrible.
got,
know,
I
I know,
got
I like-
Kittle or Kelsey. No, that's right. You
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
want
want-
Kittle.
I-
Kittle's not going to
I want
play, dude.
Kittle. With that calf injury, dude, I'm a little
Well,
freaked on
that's
this
why I
one.
was wondering if you said that's why you said he sucks because he's not.
I like-
Well, I want
No, I like Logan Thomas a lot. I got him in our dynasty league, and I
Go to
love the story. I love he
completed,
hasn't
Johnny.
missed a snap.
Huh?
Go to
For what?
completed right there. Completed up there, right there.
I'm trying. It won't let me.
Hmm.
Won't let me, dude.
It was click that little grid right there. No, to the left.
To the left.
To the left.
To the
of
left,
that.
to the
Oh,
left.
you
right
go.
there we
Oh,
go.
you
Boom,
drafted
dude.
on the box to the left.
Oh, now I like pop this out. We'll see what's going on here. I don't even know.
All right. Well, next week we'll hopefully be able to draft with some more of Whisper Nation, guys.
Yeah.
Get that Underdog downloaded. Make sure you go to underdogfantasy.com or you download the app. You type in the promo code TFW and you get 10 free dollars. And you join us next week when we do this thing. It's gonna be fun. Doing it every
If you
week.
like what you're listening to, consider hitting us subscribe. Consider hitting us with that thumbs up for this specific episode. Follow us on the other platforms. We love doing this, and we will see all y'all here soon. Any other questions we missed? We said what's up to Jay. We got this one right.
Yeah,
Ayuk or Waddle? Yeah, we got that
we
one.
did.
Yeah. I tried to get the results up, but I couldn't. Wasn't allowed. They're not. It's not allowing me. I don't know.
All good. We'll figure it out. We'll get it up there.
We'll get this
Yeah,
one
we'll
cleaner.
figure
We'll
it
get
out.
for next time.
Yeah, we'll get it one way or
All
another.
right.
But we got a team. We got a team.
We got a team, and here we got a team with the Fantasy Whispers. I am Austin Sear. That is Big Travis. We got Johnny Game Time Hicks below. We are the Fantasy Whispers. Have a great Friday. We're out.
Peace.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.